is, can security guards tow vehicles? Can security guards tow vehicles? My thought on that is not can you tow vehicles? The better question is, should you tow vehicles? Watching another page recently, conversation was on towing vehicles. And guys, look, I'm going to be very honest with you. Number one, follow your post orders. I can come on here every week and I can give you guys my opinion. I can give you my thoughts, my feelings on everything. You can go to other YouTube channels. You can listen to them. They can give you their opinions. They can give you their feelings. They can talk to you from the position of a security guard, the position of a law enforcement officer. At the end of the day, your standard operating procedures are what you have to abide by. We just literally said, no matter what you do, it's going to be wrong. I guarantee you operate outside of that standard operating procedure, outside of your post orders, it's for damn sure going to be wrong. There are 3 things that I want you guys to think about when it comes to towing vehicles, okay? And when I thought about these 3 things, I was like, man, I don't want to go 1, 2, 3 because they're literally all of equal importance. So I'm going to do 1A, 1B, and 1C. When it comes to towing vehicles as a security guard, 1A is to understand the legal implications. Improper or an unauthorized action can lead to liability. We talk about liability all the time. If you have a sign on private property, for our company that I work for, our security officers, our job is to work in a cover capacity. So the loss prevention officers, they have their own ticket book that is from the store. And that is something that is contracted out through a third-party tow company. So our loss prevention officers will go out to the parking lot. There's signs that say, it's 90-minute parking only, that there is a tow company that services our parking lot. If you're over that amount of time and you get a ticket, you're subject to tow, right? All that stuff is posted in a conspicuous place where people can see it right as they're driving in and parking. So for us as security guards, our only interaction in terms of the tow process is that if the loss prevention officers go out to the lot and they scan, they see cars, and they start putting tickets on the cars that say, hey, look, you have 30 minutes left before we go ahead and initiate the tow. Our job is simply just to work as a cover officer. We're there to make sure that if someone's in the vehicle and they jump out and they want to break bad, that we're there to protect that officer. We're there in the case that loss prevention officer is walking back into the store. Someone sees them or has seen them at their vehicle. They've got the ticket book in their hand and they come out. They want to break bad. We're there to make sure that we protect that loss prevention officer. And these situations happen all the time. In Portland, since you have so many people that live in their vehicles, you have so many people that do drugs in their vehicles, so many people that run drugs out of their vehicles, parking lots at any private establishment, whether it's a restaurant or a grocery store, retail establishment, anything. They are completely full of people that are doing all kinds of nefarious things in their vehicles. The parking lots are hubs for gang activity, for prostitution, for illegal merchandise sales. The people that are going into the store and stealing shit under the district attorney and woke people who have allowed for that to be completely okay in our retail establishments, they go right outside into the parking lot and they sell shit. Everything from laundry detergent to dish soap to paper towels to anything. Because the goal is just to sell something enough to get that $3 to $5 so they can get that hit of fentanyl. So it is a huge issue here. It's something that most of the retail establishments, they try their absolute best to stay on top of it, to be out there looking at that parking lot, seeing how long these vehicles have been there, putting tickets on the vehicles, and then having the tow companies come out and take them out of the lot. Because if you allow them to post up and someone can conceivably say that they're living in their vehicle, even though it's on private property, Now you got yourself a situation. And that's something that a lot of security guards aren't aware of. The signage that is at any establishment that you might be working, do you know if that signage is in current compliance with the county or the city that you're working in? Now, here in Portland, they change the laws, they change the ordinances, they change the statutes on everything related to the homeless and related to the demographic of people that create crime, cause crime, and do drugs. Everything in their favor. So situations like trying to move homeless people, situations like trying to move homeless people that are living in their vehicle, people that are addicted to drugs and they are in their vehicle doing drugs, you had better be very, very, very careful on what you do and what you try to enforce as a private security guard. Most companies are going to say, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Now, for us, the company that we work for, that we service, they are the ones that do that. And we are simply there in a cover capacity. And we haven't even gotten into the conversation of if you get a high-powered business person or a corporate person's car towed, all of the ways that they can turn your ass inside out, and they can't. Okay, so be very, very aware. If you are in a situation where they are telling you to write tickets or to enforce tow policies, you better know the legal implications on whether or not what you're doing is legal or within the jurisdiction of the area that you're working, because it changes. It changes. It does. So be very careful with that. 1B is the escalation to violence. Guys, here, if a car is towed, I think it's like an $80 tow fee and then a $250 fee to get it released. Now, if you put the average person who is a hardworking, decent human being, and they've parked, 10 minutes over that 90 minute, they've been there for 100 minutes, whatever, and you're getting their car towed, and this person's having a hard time paying their bills. They're already struggling. Inflation's through the roof. Thank you, Bidenomics. And they see you as the security guard out there writing a ticket and getting their car put in that situation. Good luck. We just talked about the guy that came back in the Macy's situation and stabbed up 2 security guards. We just talked about the guy that came back to the Quick Trip and shot the security guard. There's countless examples of security guards who have been harmed, assaulted, or killed based on someone coming back from an earlier altercation. Now, you're talking about someone's mode of transportation, potentially what they're living in. That is something that you have to ask yourself. Are you willing to be the face of the person that puts this other person in that situation? Now, again, if your standard operating procedures are to initiate a tow, I understand that, and that is your job. We are talking about the gray area of you having the ability to make that decision. As a security guard, just do your job. Stop adding on to what it is that you're being tasked to do. If your job is to observe and report, observe and report. If your job is to be a cover officer, be a cover officer. The desire to do more than what you're asked to do is what is putting you guys in bad situations. If it's not in your post orders to get a vehicle towed, do not jump out the window and get someone's vehicle towed, because the very real possibility of that escalating to a situation where someone hands you your ass on a silver platter is very high. And most of you who are watching this at the sound of my voice, most of you in that situation are going to do the dumb thing and you're going to pull the piece because you're not going to jiu-jitsu, right? So don't put yourself in that situation. 1C, reputation within a demographic, both good and bad. If you are the guy at your site that gets people's cars towed and we're talking about the demographic of good people, this can bite you in the behind. You want to be a police officer? You want to be a sheriff's deputy at some point? You want to be a corrections officer? Tow somebody who works at City Hall's car. Ruin their day. Put them in a situation where they can't go pick up their kid because they have to get an Uber to go get their car out of a tow lot. You want to get a decent house? Go ahead and get the loan officer at your local bank's car towed and see what kind of interest rate you get when you get that loan, right? You guys see where I'm going with this. The people that we have to interact with throughout society, in our city, in our town, the people that we're going to come in contact with at some other point when we're not wearing a uniform and carrying a ticket book, those are the people whose cars you want to tow. And that's the good demographic. What about the bad demographic? The crackhead that has nothing to lose and gets to sit there and seethe for the next 48 hours until he decides to come back and poke you with a stick 3 days later. It's not worth it, guys. If it's not in your post orders, do not do it. And don't let anybody tell you that you should be doing it. I hate that I have to keep having the same conversation. It's repetitive.